Welcome to Buckeyes Tomorrow Morning for Monday, August 21st. I'm your host, Tom Orr. The Indiana game is in 12 days. The game against Michigan in 96 days. With the Indiana game being in 12 days, well, Ohio State's going to need to know who its starting quarterback is at some point in the next, let's say 11 3/4 days. So when exactly during that 11 3/4 days are we going to find out who that quarterback is? Well, the answer could be as soon as today. Ryan Day set to address the media Monday morning in Columbus. We will be there. We'll be streaming it live at youtube.com/Buckeye Huddle. Tony Gerdeman will be there as well. Tony, are you expecting to know who Ohio State's starting quarterback is this time tomorrow night?
Well, I'm expecting Ryan Day to tell us. Will that mean I'll know at that point? Maybe. But I do expect him to tell us because this is when he's always told us when there's been a competition. It's always come after the second scrimmage. That's how it was when Justin Fields was competing with Matthew Baldwin and Chris Chugunov, and when CJ Stroud was competing with Jack Miller and Kyle McCord. So it always happens after the second scrimmage. So that's why I'm expecting it now. And, just like last week, Ryan Day was scheduled to talk to the media on Wednesday, but it was moved up to Monday. We're told, don't read anything into it, but, get it out of the way is what I'm reading into it.
Yeah, don't read anything into it, but there's some news in the tight end room. So we'll see. We'll see what news Monday brings on this one. But this is such an interesting quarterback battle because I don't know if you have had the same experience over the weekend that I did, which was I was out with friends, did some hung out with family on Sunday, and everywhere you go, it's like, so what are you hearing about the quarterback? What's the, do you know? Do you secretly know and you're just not telling everyone? This is the first time I can remember since Terrell Pryor and Todd Beckman maybe, or I don't know, 2011, Joe Bauserman and Braxton Miller. How long has there been real genuine mystery and suspense surrounding the Ohio State quarterback position this long, where it feels like there are people who you would think would know who are on opposite sides of the divide this far? I guess 2015 is the actual answer to this, right? But with JT and Cardale, but it feels like this is a few and far between situation where it has been this, you're this far into the fall and there is still some genuine mystery about it.
Yeah, and I wish you wouldn't have come up with that 2015 because I was gonna jump on that one and hammer you for it. But yes, that was the one because I still remember walking to the game, 3 or 4 hours before kick and being on the radio show, and they're like, "So who's it going to be?" And the pressure's all on me at that point. So I'm thinking, the last thing I heard was that it was probably Cardale Jones, and so that's what I went with before the phone cut out because we're walking through hills and whatnot on the way from the local grass airport there in Blacksburg to the actual stadium. And then, of course, Cardale Jones later finds out when he's told to get out there on first down. So that, I don't expect it to go that far, but that's the last time where it was this much of a question. And the past quarterback battles with Fields and Stroud, every time we saw those guys, they were going first in their competition. And it's always, like I said, it's always been around this time that it's been named, but I don't know that it certainly hasn't been this late that everybody knew who the quarterback was on the practice field. So I am wondering what the team feels and knows and how much, are the reps still 50-50 at this point, or is this now today's practice going to be the first one where it becomes 60-40, then 70-30, something like that when, okay, this is your job now, so now we have to give you a heavier load.
All right, so I'm going to title this episode something like, who is going to be Ohio State's QB1, Kyle McCord or Devin Brown? Because, I don't have time to explain how SEO works to you, but just trust me, it'll be something like that. So I guess I'm contractually obligated to ask you, Tony Gerdeman, who will be Ohio State's QB1, Kyle McCord or Devin Brown?
My entire thing on this is until I see Devin Brown out there, my expectation is Kyle McCord. Now, will I be shocked? Not at all, because these are two guys who are good enough to start at Ohio State. So I'm not going to be shocked by any of the guys who get the nod, other than, say like a Lincoln Keenholz or Tristan Gebbia. Devin Brown and Kyle McCord are both good enough to start at Ohio State, so why be shocked if one of them wins the job over another?
Yeah, I think this is one where you have people who would seemingly be in a position to know, saying very firmly it is going to be this guy, and then other ones saying it's going to be that guy. And I think there may be some genuine uncertainty now. And if there's genuine uncertainty and you get 2 5-star quarterbacks who've been developed under Ryan Day, it does feel like that's probably a good thing. You've got 2 guys who are, I think the expectation should be at least at an above average, solid kind of level right now, and possibly better than that. So yeah, I guess I'm leaning towards Kyle McCord, but there's been so much Devin Brown smoke, and you never know how much of the Devin Brown smoke is circulating from, one high profile person who's been fanning those flames, and lots of people seem like they've heard that. Well, have they all heard it from the same place? Yeah, we'll all find out together. It does feel like we have said this going back to the spring. This is the first real true genuine Ohio State quarterback battle in a long, long time. So it's going to be fascinating to see that play out. And whatever the present of the Ohio State quarterback position looks like, the future of the Ohio State quarterback position looked pretty darn good this weekend. Aaron Noland, the 2024 Ohio State quarterback commit, 5-star out of Georgia, he had his season opener on a nationally televised game. I'm not sure how much of that you got to watch, but his team was down early, Tony, and he came back and then had the winning touchdown pass in the final minute and had several plays where you looked at it and went, oh yeah, no, I see what Ryan Day sees there. Yep, I get it already.
And maybe, yeah, we all saw the touchdown pass in the final minute, 25-yard touchdown pass, scrambling out of trouble and throwing it downfield. But I think what Ryan Day probably likes the most is the fact that Langston Hughes, his football team, was down 22-6 in the first quarter, and they didn't blink, and he didn't blink, and they scored, the next however many points, took a 10-point lead, 10 or 11-point lead, and then lost it again, but then got it back for the win, and it's, I think he was like 12 of 21 passing. A lot of times with these really good quarterbacks, they're so dependent on the skill positions and also the offense. It's interesting watching how run heavy they were, but I also thought they had a pretty good running back. But overall, what you want is a guy who responds and can make the plays down the stretch, and when you absolutely have to make them, and that's what he did.
And Aaron Noland was not the only future Ohio State quarterback who looked real, real good on Friday night this weekend. Tavien St. Clair, he was not on national TV, but you were there to see him in person. So how did Tavien St. Clair look like he put up some pretty impressive throws and some pretty impressive numbers in his 2023 high school football debut as well? Yeah,
threw for 5 touchdowns, over 300 yards, and Bellefontain's win over Sydney. And a guy who, it's a lower level of football, so all of this is very easy for him. Not that he doesn't put in work, but he can afford to just sometimes win with his arm. And he's got some receivers who can get open. He's got some good skill there. I had somebody text me from the area and wondering, how much is he going to destroy the league the next 2 years? And honestly, it also, as I said, it depends on the players he has around him, because an outstanding quarterback with a 5-star arm is really only as good as the people catching the passes or trying to get open. But he is really, really good, obviously. He's got great command of the offense. Calm in terms of is not getting flustered by the defense coming after him. He's athletic enough to escape and continue to roll out and look for receivers, and can really make all different kinds of throws and throws on the run very well. Really strong arm, and just a confident guy. I talked to him afterwards about the expectations of being an Ohio State commit, and I wrote about that on Sunday, and you can see that at BuckeyeHuddle.com, Tom. Sorry to throw a plug in there, but he knows all eyes are on him, and as he said, all eyes are going to be on me for the rest of my life. Not in a way that everybody's just going to be focused on him, but he knows that people are going to see him differently for a very, very long time, and that's kind of what you're getting into as an Ohio State quarterback commit.
Yeah, you go from future Ohio State quarterback to former Ohio State quarterback And that's kind of the rest of your life if you live in the state of Ohio. So, yeah, that is, and I mean, I think it's good that people probably know that going in, because there's a certain level of expectation that comes along with that as well. And just in case you were wondering, if everything Ryan Day touches seems to turn to gold at the quarterback position, I'm just going to read a tweet from @PouringPurple on Friday night. DeSales 21, Tri-Valley 17, RJ Day's first career touchdown pass on 3rd and 19 with 25 seconds remaining to Jack Elgin. So Ryan Day's son, who is a high school freshman, throwing his first career touchdown pass to win his first career high school football game. If you want to hang on with Ryan Day, you're going to learn something about the quarterback position. I think that's maybe my big takeaway there. Your big takeaway should be that, boy, Monday might be a real interesting day, as we might find out from Ryan Day who his next starting quarterback is going to be. Tony and Kevin will be there covering Ryan Day's press conference. That'll be right around lunchtime, right around noon or 11:30, something like that. It's always 11:30-ish, so just go ahead and make sure you are subscribed. Hit that bell. Make sure you're subscribed to our channel at youtube.com/BuckeyeHuddle, so you will get notified as soon as we go live and be able to keep an eye on things and monitor that whole situation as it is happening live. And then, of course, we'll have lots of coverage at BuckeyeHuddle.com as well. Whether there's a decision on Monday or not on the starting quarterback position, the starting center position, the starting tackle positions, the starting safety positions, there's going to be a whole lot of stuff to keep an eye on all day and all week and all season at BuckeyeHuddle.com. So make sure you are there. You are at Facebook.com/BuckeyesGotHuddle. Make sure you like us there. YouTube.com/BuckeyeHuddle. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on all the things. Wherever you are, you can find us. And you will find complete coverage of the team, complete coverage of recruiting. Might be a big commit coming pretty soon for the Buckeyes. A 5-star defensive end making his decision a little later on this week. That's going to be worth keeping an eye on as well. X's and O's coverage, making you a smarter football fan, all at BuckeyeHuddle.com. That will do it for today. Thank you guys all for joining us. Have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow.